dial that back a bit. I think 12 is like my... Yeah, 12 is sort of the line weight I've been doing. Yeah, in the stick was gonna be like glowing blue like a lightsaber, so I may do that. But that introduces like another color, and I wound up with like I've already got my what is this? 2, 4, 6, 7 colors. So I was like, should I add more? I don't know. I try and keep these like minimum color. Yeah, but that was the intent, was to make this like a lightsaber, like glowing. It just didn't work out. Oh, okay, so here's a hex color. So for the blue, this is the blue, right? There we go. Oh, so yeah, here's yeah, there we go. It's like a little bit richer blue. If you shift and click anywhere on here, it starts to cycle through like other colors, like other palettes. So I just went kind of around the neighborhood here, around the world, to this one, which is RGB, and it has the hex. You just paste it in there. Yeah, it feels more cohesive without it. What is the prices? Oh, prices for logos. Everything I do starts at 85. Something like this would probably be double that, so like 170-ish. It takes me, this one has taken me about 8 hours from when I started it yesterday to right now, which is we did 3 hours yesterday morning and almost 3 hours today, and then I worked on it like a couple hours yesterday after the stream, just doing like messing around with like the detail and stuff. Opacity white, yeah. So the shirt color will wind up being like orange, I think. That way I can remove one of these colors. So the way what they're talking about is, let's say you have. Oh, let's fix this text here. Let's say you have a shirt, okay, and your shirt is like orange. Well, you really wouldn't print this orange onto the shirt. You would want to use the color of the shirt itself as that orange. So when you're making, it's called color separations, you're gonna have like, you'll put down the gray, and then you'll put down, what is it, you start with, is it light to dark or dark to light? I don't remember. Anyway, you put all your colors down, and when you get to the, like this particular color, you don't print that on the shirt, but everything else, you know, so you let the shirt be this orange. Normally I go for a color, like, I might wind up doing like the white here, so it would be like a white shirt, and then I would never need to print the white. It's strange if you have like two similar colors, like I have two oranges, if I pick, you know, one of these to be the shirt, then the other one's not going to look right, because the orange of the shirt will never like coordinate with like the other orange you've got in there. So you try and pick like a lone color to copy onto the shirt. So it would most likely be like the white. More fond of the teal, the previous one. We can still adjust it. Yeah, I think I kind of like the lighter one. We'll leave it like that. Let me fix this text here. And I do have 10 minutes left with the stream, and then I for real have to take off and help get everybody up and ready for Christmas. Probably make another pot of coffee. Okay, so this can be like 22. We'll just make the font bigger, tighter together. Yeah, eShirt Labs is qualified for this whole shirt printing thing. Way too low. Yeah, like again, you know, it could be more. I normally, like my hourly rate, well, the way I normally do it I agree, that is a bit low. But I'm 85 an hour, typically. And it depends on what I'm doing. Like, I seriously have, like, a regular job that pays really well, so this is all, like... I say no to a lot of projects more often than I agree to do them. And most of the projects I do are just for people I know. Like, if I'm legitimately working for a client, or somebody who's commissioned me who I don't know, they'll definitely pay, like, my regular price. Or I'll definitely ask that. So yeah, I'm not undercutting anybody, and I'm not trying to be cheap to get work or anything. My pricing method is just for is only things that I'm interested in, and usually only for people I know. Yeah, it's difficult to price, but typically it is. You figure out what you charge an hour, and then you take that and figure out how long the job is going to take, and then you add about 20% onto that. So if I was approached by, like, I don't know, anybody off the street, and they're like, we want you to do some brochure work and stuff like that, that's how I would price it. And then I'd be like, well, that's what it is, They're like, can you cut us a break? I'd usually be like, no. But, like, stuff like this where I'm doing it on stream and it's just for fun, or just for, like, friends and whatnot, I'd consider all of that as part of the pricing. Yeah, man, as a designer though, pricing is hard, but if you consider, like, you're doing this to support yourself, it's like it's your job. You gotta charge what you've gotta charge. And typically the people who are willing to pay, like, your actual, like, the real price are the ones you want to work with anyway, because they understand the value of your work. Sometimes you get the guys who are like, I only want to pay so much for it, and you're like, well, I can't help you there. My price is my price. So let's see. All right, so I'm looking at this. I don't think it's like that orange in the middle. I think I'd rather do that. And the reason I'm, like, nudging this thing around is, like, maybe this. There we go. That's pretty good. Yeah, and Erica too. If you guys want, like, Erica also is a designer. Yeah, and oh, you bring up a good point too. Like, scroll back. That's moving quick now. Yeah, Pearly was saying, like, sites like Fiverr and 99 Designs. My experience, I've had people go there rather than like commission something to do it, and they typically, from everything that I've seen, they get exactly what they pay for, which is, like, usually really terrible. It's not, sure, you're not paying a lot and you're getting, like, a cut rate design and people are, like, fighting over the commission for it, but the results are usually pretty awful. Just yesterday got a freebie request. Yeah, like, will you do it for free? I get those occasionally. I'm like, no, I'll throw a number out there, and they're like, oh, I'll get back to you. And then sometimes I'll get it to where they'll be like, yeah, will you do, like, spec work? Like, will you do this for free, and promise for, like, future work? Don't ever do that. Don't do spec work ever, even if it's for a client. They'll take it and run. They're never gonna contact you or commission you. I know Fiverr. 99 Designs is the one that I saw. Oh, let's see. There's a book too. Since we're talking about pricing, I'll just pull this up. If you guys are interested, this is a really good resource, I think. Design Guild Ethical Guidelines. Yeah, here it is. It's the Graphic Artists Guild Handbook of Pricing and Ethical Guidelines. It pretty much has like what you should charge for whatever you do. Like photography, things like that. It has like contract writing, it has all kinds of stuff. Yeah, Erica stream, yeah, 3 times a week. Yeah, I'll get back to you, never responds. Yeah. I try and catch Erica's stream. Tried Design Crowd and hated it. Don't do book. Oh, it's called spec work. Speculation work. Like, if you do this for us now, we promise to like commission you for future work. Don't ever do that. It never turns out good, and they'll always be gone. Plus, you know, there's no telling when that future work is gonna show up. A lot of web developers get that too. That's like a it happens a lot to them, or it did to us. Like, you would let's see, let me try and describe it better. So let's say you build websites and you have a company and they're like, we need a website, and this is sort of design related. They're like, we need a website, we want you to build it, but we've got these 3 other companies also we're looking at, and they're like, we want you to present us with your best design so we can see which one we want to go with. Right there, just say no. You're like, nope, sorry. If you're contacting us, you've seen all this other work we've done, you know our portfolio, we've met you, and you know we've talked about it. Here's our price. We're not going to do any designs for you until you actually commission us to do it, until you sign on, get on board with us. Your portfolio and your work and like all the stuff you've already got like out in the wild should be enough to get you the job. You should never have to do any work or any like well thought out designs, because that's part of the discovery process, or part of the like getting into the work. Like, you could design something, but without actually fleshing out what they need, you are designing something pretty, but it doesn't account for any of the business requirements or any of the strategy of the business or any of the research that needs to happen. You're just showing them something pretty, and they'll be like, that's nice. You know, maybe they'll go with you, maybe they won't. But you've presented something that you are going to throw away anyway, because you've done none of the other research and work into it. So that's spec work. Don't ever do that. Yeah, and just stand your ground. I mean, if a client is going to do that, that's not the client you want to work with anyway. If you like desperately need the money, you know, that's your call. But I would recommend like never doing that, just on principle. But that's happened like once or twice in my old job, where we'll get a client, we'll do that. I'll spend like 3 days putting a design together. Like, no, we went with these other people. They're like, you know, maybe your design didn't like meet like this one business requirement that was cryptic that we didn't communicate. So just, yeah, stay away from that altogether. Yeah, everyone just vectorized your suggested images. Yeah, and that too. Like, stuff gets stolen all the time. Like, I'm torn, like making emotes and things. It's like, you know, I want to make the emote, and I normally, like, personally, I normally don't charge until, like, I've completed the work. Like, I know they're serious. And, oh, hey, Alencio, good morning. Hey, thanks for the follow. I'm just checking the time here. I do have to kind of wrap this up. Let's get this text. I meant to do that. But, yeah, just, you know, watch who you're working for, get a feel for it. Yeah, doing your work and getting ripped off. So it's like with emotes, because they're so tiny, and it's like I can't show you the emote without giving you, you know, the ability just to steal it anyway. So it's like you know, what do you do for that? First, let you do some free work, yeah.